So we finally said, all right, if the hot glue gun doesn't work, we're done. They're just all coming down. One of them we ended up having to take. But anyways, there was a lot of family and friends that came in to help us. There were a lot of family and friends who went the extra mile to be here. They didn't have to be, but they made the effort to be here. We appreciate that. We've got folks here today from Alabama, from Arkansas, of course, from Louisiana, of course, from Georgia, from Missouri, from Tennessee, from Texas. But there are two families that I would like to mention in particular. All the way from Illinois, the Bates family, all the way in the back. Anna and Kara have been friends of Leanne and Amber both since early high school, I believe. And they've been through their teen years and now through their early 20s together. And so we want to thank them for coming all the way from Illinois. To top that, we have another pair of friends all the way from Michigan. Mike and Vicki Stanley, table 9. Are from Michigan. They attended the congregation that we attend in Bloomington, and it wasn't until recently that Mike's work took him back to Michigan, but they promised we'll be there for the ceremony. They showed up this afternoon, and we want to give a shout out to them for that all the distance that they've traveled. We want to thank Tony and Ella again for the fabulous meal that we had last night. It was not only a chance to relax after all of our preparations for the past couple of days, but it was a good chance to get to know them better, to learn who some of the wedding party was going to be, and it was just a really fun time. We want to thank them for that. We want to thank some of the folks who had a hand in tonight's activities. Nick's Barbecue is our caterer for tonight. It's a local restaurant providing all the food for us. We want to thank Juananne Lasco for all the appetizers. Sheila Hurley, who owns one of the restaurants here in town. She's the one who put together the cake, and I believe the cupcakes as well. Okay? Also, our photographer, Jody Holyfield. We want to thank her and her husband for all the time they put in. All of these folks that I'm mentioning here, these are some of the nicest folks that you'll ever meet. They're hardworking, they're very professional, they're good at what they do. And we had to work with all of them on a touch-and-go basis. We weren't able to come down here very often during the engagement, but we got down here early enough that we got in touch with all of them, and they have relieved us of any worries that we had. So we want to give a big shout out to them. Finally, and in my mind, most importantly, I would like to thank my wife. It's been a hard job for her to plan this way. You would think that after one wedding, we'd have it down pat. We learned a lot the first time. I don't know if we got it all right, but we learned a lot the first time. But there are more reasons why this one was challenging than our first wedding. The first is, as most of you know, this is not where we're from. This is basically a destination wedding. We had to book up everything ahead of time. We had to make, if you driven past Bill and Mary's house, you'll see a trailer in their driveway. For about the first 3 days I was here, I drove around town on a trailer. Everybody knew who I was. Well, we brought everything with us: the tablecloths, the chair sashes, the chair covers, the plates, the silverware, the glasses, the candles. You name it, we brought it. The only thing I think that we didn't bring were the tables and the chairs. Those were already here. So it was a challenge to plan this wedding from a distance. When Amber and Jake first suggested the idea, Melissa and I looked at each other. We had a moment. Really? They want to have a wedding in Hazen? And right after that, we had another moment. Yeah, really? They want to have this in Hazen? Okay. So we adapted and we overcome, and tonight's end result is what came from all the planning. The second reason I want to thank my wife is because with our first daughter, Leanne, when she and Brandon got engaged, they had slightly over a years-long engagement. Amber and Jake decided that they were not going to wait a full year. They wanted to get married 6 6 months after the engagement, after he proposed. And Amber knew that there was no way she was going to sell 6 months to Melissa. So she said to Jake, how about 7 months? No, 7 months, right? 6 months, 7 months, there's not much to do with it. But nonetheless, it was challenging because we had a much shorter amount of time to plan and to save. Weddings are not cheap. The third reason, and actually before I go on to the third reason, I want to mention how this impatience of Amber's comes naturally. She was born impatient. The night that she was born, it was a Sunday night going to a Monday morning, and when Melissa woke me up, she said, David, pains aren't stopping. We gotta go to the hospital. We dropped Lillian off at our babysitter's, and the babysitter took one look at Melissa and said, get her to the hospital now. We got her to the hospital, and there's an orderly outside. I said, I need a wheelchair over here now. My wife's got a broken car. She got into the delivery room. After one push, we were able to behold Amber's face. After 2 pushes, we were able to hold Amber. It was that quick. She was that impatient to get out into the world and meet us. Jake, don't be surprised if she's still impatient. But nonetheless, the third reason that I want to thank my wife is because that during those 7 months that we had to plan, Amber was gone for the better part of 3 months. She was down in Louisiana. I'll get to that in a minute. But it wasn't like we could just turn around and she was right there to ask a question. Well, do you like this? Do you like that? Do you want this? Do you want that? Sometimes it was playing tag on the phone or emails or text messages. So with her being there, I kind of let Melissa combine from time to time. I think overall, I think she did a very good job despite the challenges. So I mentioned the fact that Amber was gone for a few months, and she was down in Louisiana. What she did down in Louisiana, there were several things she did. The first, the primary reason she was down there was to go to school. There was a course in phlebotomy. So she is now a qualified, certified phlebotomist. And does anybody know what a phlebotomist is? Because I didn't. I had to look it up. She's now qualified, certified to draw blood. Sorry, Jake. I don't know if she's going to draw your blood first or what. While she was down there, she did, I was really surprised. Miss Ella, her mother-in-law now, volunteered to go with her for her final exam. She had to have a live body with her, fresh blood, that she could draw. And Miss Ella volunteered for that. I don't know if I would have been brave enough to have been in Miss Ella's shoes. Now, as it turns out, I'm told that Miss Ella didn't have to actually be the one. But nonetheless, she did volunteer, and that tells me that she got to know Amber fairly well. So that was off to, their relationship was off to a good start. She also got to know not only her in-laws, but she got to her mother-in-law and father-in-law. She got to know her sisters-in-law, her brothers-in-law, and their children. One of the stories that she told me when she actually told us when she got back about one of her nephews and or nieces. They will remain unnamed to protect their identity, but apparently they like Pop-Tarts as much as she does. Miss Ella went out of her way to buy chocolate Pop-Tarts for Amber while she was there. Anyway, so she went out of her way to buy chocolate Pop-Tarts for Amber. So Amber goes to the cupboard, she gets a package of Pop-Tarts. She goes to have lunch with Jake, and she opens the package up and realizes these are strawberry. So she goes back the next time. She goes looking specifically for a box of chocolate Pop-Tarts. And she finds it. She pulls one out. She goes and has lunch with Jake, and there's still strawberry. She goes back a third time. She looks inside the box. All of the chocolate packages have been taken out and put in the strawberry box. All the strawberry ones in the place and put in the chocolate box. One of her nephews and or nieces, who will remain nameless, is pretty sneaky. Now, I will warn all of her nephews and nieces. Now, she's suddenly become an aunt to several, 6 or more, at least 6, maybe more. Just 8. All right, 8. Wow, that's more than I had when I became an aunt. I had 6. All right. So, anyways, she is now an aunt. She's Aunt Amber to 8 young children. Okay. She can be just as sneaky as her nephews and nieces can be. It turns out that when she was less than 2 years old, when we were in Virginia, I had just been assigned to my first ship while I was in the Navy. We were saving up for a house, so we were living in an apartment. The apartment had 2 floors, upstairs and downstairs, and a staircase between. And I would get up in the morning, or Melissa would get up after I left the house, to start to find wrappers in the kitchen floor. We didn't know where they were coming from. Eventually, we got figured out that Amber, less than 2 years old, was crawling out of her crib, sneaking past our bedroom door, getting down the stairs without making any noise, getting into the fridge. I forget what it was she was eating. Whatever it was had a wrapper, but she didn't take the wrapper away. She laid it on the floor. And then she sneaked back up the stairs without making any noise, slide past our door, and she crawled back into her crib.
Oh my goodness.
So she can be just as sneaky. So, fair warning to all the nephews and nieces, if you're going to mess with her Pop-Tart, be prepared.
She knows all the tricks.
Another thing she realized while she was in Louisiana was that the climate there is far different from Illinois. It's much warmer, much more humid. So instead of the snowstorms that she's accustomed to up in Illinois, she can get used to the hurricane parties that can come to Louisiana. She can also expect to experience a whole new line of food. I heard Tony over there was talking about gumbo. I don't know if she's tried the gumbo yet, but I know she's seen lots and lots of rice. For the time that we spent out in Hawaii, we went to a congregation that was mostly Filipino or some other Asian descent, and there were, if every potluck dinner, there would be 3 or 4 or even 5 slow cookers full of rice. So she's used to rice. She's going to have to get used to gumbo, but there were a few other things I heard about over the past couple of days. Snake, an alligator. We'll see how well she does. But if she does get homesick, it's my understanding that there is a high school in the neighborhood that is named Reeves High School. So if she ever gets homesick and she doesn't have enough gas to get all the way back to Illinois, she can go to Reeves High School and at least take comfort in the name. One other thing, though, we have also was down in Louisiana. She and Jake decided to adopt a rabbit. This is not just any rabbit. It's a rabbit. It's a miniature rabbit. It's something called a mini. It has big floppy ears. It's called a mini rabbit. And I thought, this is going to be interesting. Let's see how well their parenting skills kick in before they actually have a child. Well, it wasn't long before I heard the mini lock got lost. Turns out, somehow Minnie got out of her cage, and so I think by the time this happened, Amber was already back in Illinois. So they're on the phone, and my understanding of the conversation is that Amber was asking all the different places he needed to check. Did he check under his bed? No, Minnie wasn't there. Did he check in Desmond's room? At the time, Desmond was staying with Jake. No, it's not in Desmond's room. Did you look in your shoes? I don't know any rabbit that likes to spend time in his shoes, but Minnie liked to spend time in Jake's shoes at one point or another. No, not Jake's shoes, not behind the dryer. They actually found Minnie in one of the closets in Jake's home. And it's my understanding now that they want to adopt a Persian cat. Please, before you have any children, let's get this lost thing under control. Get a leash. So nonetheless, she comes back to Louisiana, and it was then that I realized she's finally ready for marriage. She comes back, she goes to her room, and apparently there's a blanket in her room. She decides it's time to get rid of the blanket. My understanding is that there are a few names of some old boyfriends on this blanket. Tiny good blanket. I wish I got the picture of it. I wish I could have brought it. Sorry, Jake, I don't know the names. On Scout's honor, I don't know the names. You'll have to ask her about it yourself. But also from the return home, which I thought was the highlight of the summer. You can always tell when Amber gets really excited about something because she'll have this great big smile on her face. And she's got this silly little giggle. And she'll come running into the room and she'll have her hands up against her face. She'll do this. And I thought, okay, here it comes. So she comes running into the room. And I forget what Melissa and I were doing. We were watching television or something. We stopped whatever we were doing. And she announces, guess what? We're going to have a baby. I thought, you're not even married yet. She didn't give me much of a chance to let it sink in. What I thought was funny, more funny than that, was what she said right after that. She says, we're going to have a baby. And Jake doesn't care as long as it's not ugly. I could not make this up if I tried. I think they were talking about the rabbit. I think he got the rabbit after she came back. I'm going to take him as a word for that. These are the sort of things, Jake and Amber, that give parents gray hair. Okay? I have enough gray hair already. I'm going to get more. I don't want any more, but I'm sure I'll get more. But it's remarks like these that are going to make her absence just a little bit easier. There will be several reasons that we will miss Amber. One reason, just recently, just within the last week or two, we all went to the polls. Amber is no longer going to be able to vote in Illinois. I know, I realize if you get her registered, she might still be able to vote in the runoff down in Louisiana. I don't know what the laws are down in Louisiana, but I thought it was ironic. She might get voted in 2 elections and it's still illegal. Nonetheless, we won't have her vote up in Illinois. I wouldn't have an extra pair of hands when it comes to hanging drywall. This past summer, we remodeled our garage, and to cover up all the open rafters, I needed several pairs of hands. So I enlisted Melissa and Cameron and Amber all to help me with the project. So now if I have any more projects, I can actually rent help or rent machinery, because I'll only have 2 extra hands. Another reason we'll miss her is because while she was in Illinois for the beginning and ending of the summer, she was working at McDonald's. We'll no longer get the discount at McDonald's. She was, I'm sure she's being missed by her former co-workers up there. For the past 2.5, maybe close to 2.5 years, I've been privileged to watch I don't know how many episodes of a show called Say Yes to the Dress. I don't have any reason to watch that. I still can't tell you what an A-line dress is or a sweetheart neckline. If I really pay attention this time, but I'll have no good reason to watch it. I only have $2 in there now. 2 more reasons why we'll miss Amber. She and Cameron are usually good for at least a couple arguments each week. And so now, if anybody's going to argue with Cameron, it's going to have to be us. I mean, we're not looking forward to it. So that's another reason we'll miss Amber. But then, the last reason we'll miss Amber, the last one that I'll mention, is that when I would walk into the bathroom, I would look over at the toilet. And usually in the hall bath, there would be an empty roll of toilet paper. Not only would there be an empty roll of toilet paper, there would be a full one stacked on top of it. Sometimes there might be 2 empty rolls and a 3rd full one on top of it. So I don't have anybody to blame that on anymore. Amber was known, she's notorious in our house for that. So Jake, I understand you're going to have 2 bathrooms in your home. His and her. So if you walk into hers, don't be surprised if you find an empty toilet. All right. If you were here for, well, not here, but if some of you were here for Leanne and Raven's wedding, and at that time I gave them some advice, and Amber, I'm hoping that you'll remember some of that advice. Jake, if you need to be filled in by Brandon on some of the things I told him, you probably need to talk to him. I've learned over the past couple of days that there have been a few moments when he realized, in retrospect, that's what my father-in-law was talking about. So, if you do want to get together and share notes, you can. But I do have a couple of things that I want to mention to Amber and Jake in the way of advice. To Amber, believe it or not, there will come a time when you and Jake will eventually argue. If and when that time comes, please remember, anything that Jake said 6 or 8 months ago is inadmissible. You cannot use that against him now. Anything beyond 7 days old is null and void. Okay? Second, remember that if he says something to you, and you can interpret that 2 ways, and one way makes you sad or angry, get the other one. Jake, 2 words of advice for you. First, you have 2 options in marriage. You can be right, or you can be happy. It's your choice. You have many men in this room who made that choice, and you have many men to look to for advice. Second one. The husband who wants a happy marriage, this actually comes from Groucho Marx. The husband who wants a happy marriage should learn to keep his mouth shut and his checkbook open. All right, and for Leanne and Brandon, I do have advice for them as a couple, for Jake and Amber as a couple. The first part of the advice is in the form of a short story that I'll read, just a paragraph long. It goes, a husband and a wife are getting cozy in bed. Before the husband can even kiss his wife, she stops and says, I just want you to hold me. The husband is perplexed and asks why. She explains that he must not be in tune with her emotional needs as a woman. So the husband realizes that nothing's going to happen that night. He might as well deal with it. So the next day he gets smart. He takes her shopping at a big department store. They walk around and she tries on not 1 expensive outfit, not 2, but 3 expensive outfits. And what does he tell her? He doesn't tell her she can have just 1. He doesn't say you can have 2 of the 3. He says, we'll take all 3. But he's not done. Not only does he get her the 3 expensive outfits, he tells her, go pick out a pair of shoes for each one of them. Let's go check out the diamond earring. Let's even get you a diamond bracelet. She's excited. She thinks he's flipped out, but she's still excited. So she runs over to the checkout counter, and the husband says, wait a minute, honey. She says, what? He says, we're not going to buy all this stuff. And she looks at him, why? I just want you to hold all this stuff. She gets red, and before she can say anything, he says, well, you must not be in tune with my financial needs as a husband. So, word of advice, listen to each other's needs.